This is something that I hear all the time, Sal. My life is hectic and I simply do not have time to prioritize myself, my needs, my healthy life practices. You ever said that one? Yeah.
I'm laughing because we were just talking about that.
Yeah, absolutely, we were. And today, what we want to do is we want to explore some elements of balancing this mind, body, spirit, and how that actually enhances our general overall well-being. So in our fast-paced world, it is so easy to get caught up in that hustle, bustle, and have people pulling us left and right. And it means that we can really neglect some of those really important aspects of our general well-being. And we often focus on fitness and mindset practices and nutrition, and all of those things are super, super important as well too. And it's going to look different when life is hectic, that's for sure. But we also want to think about, relationships and how those relationships are impacting us, and, maintaining our mental health as well, and nurturing ourselves from a spiritual perspective as well too. And it doesn't matter whether, that spiritual health is, going to church, or whether it's, Buddha, or whatever it happens to be. It could be just simply sitting in nature, might be your spiritual work. So we all have that way of connecting with ourselves. And so here's what I'm going to start off by saying is that we often think about this balance as being, something that's going to be really even. So I'm going to be able to do, 33%, 33%, 33%. That's not going to be possible, because it depends on what we're actually focused on at the time. It's going to be a higher priority than those other things. So if you were in a career, as an example, or you're got a health issue, or you're taking care of a loved one, that's going to be the important thing. That's going to be really, really up there. And those other things are going to be, less of a priority. Doesn't mean that they're not important to you, but you won't be doing them on the same level. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with relationships, Sal.
Yeah.
I think having a healthy relationship with people. You've been in a toxic relationship. I've been in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And you know how much that impacts you. And it doesn't just impact you from a mental capacity and an emotional capacity. It also impacts you from a physical perspective. It impacts your sleep, your stress levels, everything is impacted. So, having people around you that are going to take care of your emotional needs, and also your resilience, is really important. So you want someone who's going to kick you up the butt when you need it too.
I also think those relationships should also be, you want someone who's going to give you a hug when you need it too.
Yes, yeah. And sometimes that hug's not possible because you might be in different places. So, but even connecting via something like we're doing right now, you can still feel that connection, that love as well too. So
yeah.
I also think, Sal, that we often neglect the relationship with ourselves. Yeah. Okay. So, and we're going to be thinking about that from a self-awareness perspective, and that requires self-reflection, looking at different situations, and just thinking about what is the relationship with myself? Do I stand in front of a mirror and go, geez, your nose crooked? Or am I looking for all my faults as I stand in front of the mirror? Or do I avoid the mirror because I'm going to be unkind to myself? I'm not going to be compassionate with myself. And I'm just simply going to beat myself up about whatever fault it is that I see in myself. That impacts us physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Definitely does. Definitely.
Look, so I also think the other aspect of it is allowing ourselves to learn, to be educated, to grow is important, because sometimes those people that we have those relationships with, they might not be people who we want to have relationships with anymore. I know I recently was talking with someone and I said, maybe it's time to kick them to the curb, But and that in itself requires a little bit of strength and resilience to be able to do that. Maybe you do step away from that relationship. But I think when we don't give ourselves that opportunity to continue to learn and grow, we just sit at that one level and we don't get that opportunity to experience all the great things in life.
No.
Where do you want to go to next, Sel?
I want to go to back to the relationships that you were talking about. I think it's so very important to set boundaries up too. Because you have, as you said, there are toxic relationships that you want to walk away from, but there's also important relationships to you. But that doesn't mean that they're not there pulling you in 57 different directions.
Yes, true.
So I think it's very important to put boundaries up for those relationships. Hey, I love you, but okay, we need to sort something out type thing. Because the more you know, and women are nurturers.
Yeah.
We'll look after everybody.
Yeah.
And the more that you give, I think those important relationships around you can just keep taking and taking and taking. So I think it's very important to put those boundaries up. We're not kicking you to the curb. We don't love you. We don't love you any less. But it's so important to put these boundaries up for your own peace of mind too.
And Sal, one of the things that, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about the communication between, for example, males and females as well too. And it's something that's been in my head and been verbalized by, some of my, younger women that I hang out with, that what happens is when they're communicating, it's like, oh, you're always whinging about something, And I said, it's very interesting that if you happen to point something out, you're whinging, but if they happen to point something out, it's just, I'm just pointing something out. So I'm always very diligent in saying, oh, no, I'm not whinging. I'm just pointing something out here. So we do communicate differently. Each and every one of us, regardless of whether we're males and females, how we actually have that dialogue can be really, really different. And I think it's important that we don't read between the lines, that we're actually get really clear on what it is that we're trying to say as well.
Definitely, yeah.
I think the next thing, Sal, is mental health. I mean, there's a lot about this now. It's a topic that wasn't talked about too much in years gone by, but there is, we might be suffering from anxiety or depression, and, we might need to get some additional help and support. We might need to go to some type of professional service to help us work through that, so that we're able to cope. Some of the things that we know exercise is great for is our mental health. You feel so much better. But actually pulling yourself up by your bootstrings when you're feeling like that is almost impossible.
Absolutely, almost impossible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, exercise is, we know exercise is a good thing because those endorphins are flowing. But you know, it ups the ante when you're outside exercising, because then you're in nature, you're feeling the sun on your skin, you're feeling the breeze, those sort of things. But it's that bootstraps to outside can
Yes.
feel like, you know, so
Worlds apart.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely worlds apart. And you know, that aspect is where we need to rely on those daily practices, those routines that we've created.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we are talking about that balance in life, but that routine can be very different depending on what's going on in our life. So if we were to use an example, you know, of Paul being in hospital, you know, how I got up and did, you know, my full workout routine, and you know, went for a walk in nature, and you know, organized my breakfast and all those types of things. They weren't the same, but it didn't mean that I wasn't still doing some aspect of it. And that's where that, you know, life happens type plan is so important to all of us, you know. And so these are like the minimum, the baselines that we develop. And so if we can do those things each and every day, it means that when life does get tough, if you know, our mental health is a bit of a concern, we still will possibly get up and go and do that one thing because it's what we do.
It's routine.
It is routine.
Mm.
It is routine. I think so. The next part of it is nurturing our spiritual self. I
Yes.
believe this gives us like a stronger sense of purpose
Mm-hmm.
and a connection that is greater than like the material world.
Mm-hmm.
I often just get outside, and as I'm walking, I'll all of a sudden I'll see a tree and I'll look at it and I'll go, look at all those colors in the bark. And I'm in awe of it. Like it's amazing. And I'll take photos. Those photos don't do it justice. But I look at it and I think there's so much more than me here. This is just an amazing part that and something that we get to really enjoy. And you know, as I said, this might be, we might connect through nature walks, or it could be through your religious practices, or maybe it's even like creative expression, or you might do it through volunteer work, or you know, something. But it's what
Writing.
writing, yeah, absolutely
Mm.
writing, yeah, for sure. It's what aligns with your values, your belief, and what is actually going to give you that true sense of purpose and give you some level of fulfillment in life.
Mm.
Mm.
And also giving yourself that, wow, I am amazing.
Mm.
Feeling it. It's a feeling, you know.
Mm.
We get up every day, you know, crawl out of bed, brush our teeth, make a coffee, get in the car, go to work, come home from work, have dinner, go to the gym, go back to bed.
Mm.
But when we wake up in the morning, do we actually go, I've got another day? You know,
Mm.
I'm so grateful to have my family around me. And for me, that's a feeling. It's a feeling that you feel from your heart. And I think um, that's spiritual, the spirit that we talk about.
Yeah, and I think, Sel, quite often, you know, that alarm will go up or we'll wake up. We don't give ourselves that pause of a morning. So it's like, take a deep breath. What do you appreciate? What are you thankful for? What are you grateful for? It doesn't matter what words you say, but it's like, what is really, really of value to me right now that really brings great joy and sense to my life?
Yeah.
And, you know, it could be as simple as Ginger Meg's laying on the bed next to me and I go, oh, she loves me unconditionally, this
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah.
So
It's that simple, you know. But I think, you know, most of us, our alarm goes off, and the first thing that comes out of our mouth is, ugh, and we just want to go back to sleep.
Oh, that's a good point. A smile.
Yeah, a smile.
Yeah. I always like a big deep breath. I like a deep
Hmm.
breath and I like to just, you know, do the little childlike stretching and just get the blood flow happening. And then just think about, you know, yeah, I got another day. What am I going to do with it that's going to be of value? But
Yeah.
of value not just to me, but to others.
Yeah.
That's why you and I sit here and do this, because we want other women as they're aging to, you know, feel stronger in themselves,
Mm.
to appreciate and value themselves.
Yes.
Mm. Is there anything you want to finish up with, Sal?
No, I that was what I wanted to talk about, was the feelings, you know,
Mm.
feeling it from your heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And look, I honestly think, ladies, like achieving balance in mind, body, and spirit, it's an ongoing thing. It's a daily thing. It's a moment by moment thing. It's about being self-aware. It's about being intentional and being adaptable as well too.
Mm.
So, you know, you might be sitting in traffic, you know, and all of a sudden someone cuts you off. Do you, you know, scream obscenities at them? Or do you take a deep breath and go, oh, that was a close call. I'm so happy that they didn't run into me.
Yeah.
They might be stupid idiots, but they didn't run into me. So, and I think the really important thing about this balance is that it is going to change based on your current needs. And it is about you thinking about how you live your life with purpose and fulfillment. And the wonderful thing, Sal, is this month we have a fantastic guide, which is our mind, body, spirit roadmap. So if anybody
Yeah.
wants that after listening to it, all they have to do is reach out to you or I, and we can shoot it off to them.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining me, Sal.
Thank you for having me, as always.
You are very, very welcome. Thanks for joining us, ladies. We hopefully you've got something out of today. And if you could actually just, you know, maybe just tag me at Peter Gillian and just tell me, what is the one thing that you are going to take away today and that you are going to implement? We really appreciate that feedback as well too. So take care and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Bye, Sal.
Bye. Bye.